Step into the knockout realm, where every punch tells an unforgiving story. This time we follow Dakota Dangerous Ditcheva, a name that is synonymous to undisputed, a woman so beautiful. She looks like a model, and many ridiculed her. But what they got to find out was that she was fierce at the same measure. With looks so calm and polite, the violence she emitted was unimaginable. Little wonder they called her dangerous. And now we bear witness to the public execution of the women who saw her for just her pretty face and model body, who with discerning words and devious actions incited Ditcheva's wrath, and learnt the lesson to never insult Dakota Ditcheva. You're in the knockout realm. Let's step into the ring. Dakota Dangerous Ditcheva isn't just a fighter. She's a phenomenon built in silence and sculpted in violence. Dakota wasn't just a prospect. She was a storm born of fire. Her Muay Thai roots running deep, molded by discipline and forged under the guidance of a fighter mother who had walked the path before her.
That right hand is definitely coming on. That was the one that I've used a lot over the years. To see her using her hands now the way she does is, it's incredible.
Carrying the weight of expectation, she faced every opponent with unrelenting force, becoming a world champion before the age of 20. Her hands don't just throw punches, they issue punishments. Her footwork isn't just evasive, it's predictive. And when she stares across the cage, what she sees isn't a challenge. It's a name that will soon be crossed off. And every woman who tried to underestimate her got defeated most times during the first round. Lisa Malden had the resume of a true-born warrior, a strong frame, quick hands, and the kind of ferocity that had earned her a string of finishes. When she was selected to face Dakota, she saw Dakota as nothing and was sure she would win. Lisa Malden, from the start of the pre-fight events, made sure she sent a message to Dakota with her body language.
I'm gonna fucking go for it. I'm gonna win. I want this bad.
Her actions as well as her words, all just to try and instill fear into Dakota, letting her know that her defeat was inevitable. Fight night came. Malden looked loose, smiling as she bounced on her toes. Confidence poured from her like heat from a furnace. As the bell rang, she came out blazing, crowding Dakota, throwing heat, trying to bully Dakota and keep her off her game. For 60 seconds, it looked like the plan might work, until Dakota started reading her. One slip, one shift, and suddenly Malden was on the canvas. Malden tried to gain back momentum in the fight, gaining a little more ground. What came next was Dakota's most feared weapon, a clean strike. A left hook to the liver that landed perfectly had Malden literally fighting, but this time it was for her life. Malden's body locked. Her eyes blinked in disbelief. She fell flat on the canvas with zero chance of getting up. And as the referee waved it off, the crowd wasn't roaring. It was stunned. Malden had come to break Dakota, but she never expected Dakota would break her without breaking a sweat in the first round. That day, Lisa Malden understood why there is the word dangerous attached to Dakota's name. Next up was a fighter with a record so scary even the fans of Dakota Ditcheva had shivers down their spine. And this woman wasn't just in search of victory, she wanted to end Ditcheva's career. Her name is Malin Hermansson. Cold, composed, a fighter's fighter. Hermansson had walked through wars and believed Dakota hadn't seen fire yet, seeing her as not worthy of touching gloves with. Malin Hermansson didn't just want to defeat Dakota, she wanted to break the Golden Girl. She had good reason to be confident. Tough as old leather, Malin had choked and outlasted women tougher than Dakota on paper, so she thought this was just another easy climb to her glory. And when the bell rang, she tried stalling by distancing from Dakota's reach. It was a tactic to bore her and to get her to make a mistake. But Dakota didn't fall for the trap. She didn't retreat. She was patient and focused, studied the movement, and just at the right moment, she pounced on Malin. Dakota attacked with grappling and some good knee attacks. The rest of the bout continued on the canvas as both fighters exchanged strong holds, trying to get the other in a submissive position. Then it happened. Like slipping thread through a needle, Dakota found an opening round the neck of her opponent. The very moment Hermanson gave an inch, Ditcheva wrapped her in coils. The grip was so tight it looked as if Dakota was ready to take Mullen to heaven. The tap came fast, not because the choke was brutal, though it was, but because something deeper cracked. Hermanson didn't tap to pain. She tapped to the realization that she hadn't stepped into the cage with a prospect. She had stepped into the cage with a predator ready to kill. Dakota had the last laugh and paid back with no glove touch, no handshake. Just a message to the entire league that she is not one to be messed with. The next woman to dare dangerous Dakota was the veteran, Cornelia Holm. And she had a lot of things to say, most of which were not nice. Cornelia Holm didn't come to respect Dakota Ditcheva. Rather, she came to rough her up and rile her up. From the moment the fight was announced, Holm wore that smirk, the one seasoned fighters give when they think they're about to humble a rising star. She dismissed Dakota as raw, calling her green.
Her being like type trained or not, don't really care about that. It's a fight and I'm gonna win it, and it will mean the same as if it would be any other opponent.
Said she'd drag her into deep waters, that she'd show her the difference between experience and hype. And she meant it. Holm brought the bully energy, chest out, eyes locked. She tried to intimidate Dakota before the cage doors even shut. Right from the start, Holm wanted to lure Dakota into her own game, forcing her to the canvas so they could wrestle and try to grapple each other into submission, knowing this to be her strength. But Dakota, with strong balance, tried to stay on her feet and off the ground. Dakota, knowing her own strengths, avoided being lured to wrestle and focused on landing strong strikes on the face and body in an attempt to break away from the grip of Holm. The fight went on in that same pattern, and just as Holm wanted, Ditcheva was forced to a second round, rare for a fighter who finishes off her opponents in the first round. Round 2, Dakota showed off her dangerous strike armor, hitting Holm with nerve-wracking shots. Holm remained focused on her strategy to take Ditcheva down and grapple her, but Ditcheva's balance and defensive strikes were her enemy. Dakota Dangerous Ditcheva had the last laugh in round 3. A strong strike combination, disbalancing kicks and body strikes, followed by a vicious kick that made Holm see stars. The statement was made and message sent in action that Dakota is to be feared and not played with. One certain fighter refused to get the memo and challenged Dakota, and yet again with disrespect. Her name, Catherine Corriginis. Catherine Corriginis was actually not like any fighter Dakota had faced. She had the swagger of a champion. Her record was equally undefeated, with towering confidence and a promise. To be the one who exposed Dakota Ditcheva, Catherine was the perfect match. She didn't just believe she could win. She believed Dakota was hype, and she would crush her. This wasn't a clash of styles. It was a collision of belief systems. One fighter convinced Dakota was just another name to scratch off, while the other quietly planned to make her opponent a memory. So it was time for war. Corriginis came in hot, physical, urgent, trying to drag Dakota into chaos. She pressed against the cage, tried to weaken and bully Dakota off her game. But Dakota didn't panic. She pivoted and began to dominate Corriginis with takedowns and heavy strikes. Corriginis suddenly switched from the bully to a coward on the canvas, refusing to stand to fight. Dakota kept on dominating the fight with intense kicks and strong blows. The question now wasn't who would win the bout, but when would Dakota deliver the final blow? And then the moment came, breaking away from the grip of Corriginis. Dakota capitalized on the chance and unleashed a fury of knee kicks and heavy punches that sent Corriginis stumbling. And the last hit Dakota threw like a final signature dropped her flat.
Big shot and a right hand. Oh, what a big one! Dakota Ditcheva, just nasty stuff.
The silence that followed wasn't from awe. It was from understanding. Corriginis wanted to show the world Dakota's flaws, but in that cage, she found none. Only fists, footwork, and the quiet terror of being completely, unmistakably wrong. They came with bravado, with scowls, with shoves, with boasts and swagger. But they all left the same way, broken, humbled, silent. Because when you step into the cage with Dakota Ditcheva, you don't just face a fighter. You face your own words. And in her world, disrespect is a debt paid in pain. The smirks shattered, the mockery muzzled, the noise gone. This is the silence she earned. This is the silence they deserved. You've just experienced the knockout realm, where pride gets punished and silence is earned the hard way. Make sure you're subscribed for more intense action. We'll see you back in the ring.